Women get mad at nice guys who don't play the game. Nice guys who don't play their game. What I mean by that is when a woman hits the wall, she hits her epiphany phase, she goes out. Of course, the beginning of it all is the insidious propaganda from modern feminism that tells women, oh, yeah, you can go out and sow your wild oats, go out, be a hoe. It's your body, it's your choice. No one can judge you, right? Go explore your options, all this satanic propaganda garbage. Of course, they fail to tell them that, hey, you're probably going to get a couple STDs, you're probably going to have a bunch of abortions, you're probably going to get your heart broken a bunch of times, because it's very difficult to go sleep around without catching feelings, especially for women. Even for men, men catch feelings too, because there's this courting process. Even if you're just out there having casual sex, there's a courting process, right? And you get attached, and then you get jaded if because deep down, a lot of times people are hooking up and they're like, I kind of love this person, I kind of started to have real feelings, because that's what happens, that's what's supposed to happen. It's called a love bond, it's called pair bonding. Certain chemicals are released, right? So you go through that however many times, however many hookups, and then you gotta, this is just a sex thing, and I gotta break it off. And so you get jaded. It's just a sex thing, it's just about the hookup. Or, at least that's what you tell yourself, and you won't admit that you actually have feelings for that person. These are the problems with casual sex, right? Just to name a few, there's more. But this is what feminism tells young women. So they go out and they sow their wild oats and they do all this stuff for however many years, and they have their fun, and it's all good, right? Seemingly, for a while. The Bible says that there's a temporary pleasure in sin. A temporary pleasure. Temporary. Emphasis on temporary. Because eventually, the chickens come home to roost. Eventually, you got to figure life out. Can you do this forever? No. Or if you did do it forever, you'd sacrifice love. You'd sacrifice having a family. You'd sacrifice other things. So this is the plan. Oh yeah, I have my fun now. But it usually doesn't work out like that, right? So they come to this other side. The other side, they hit the epiphany phase, and they're like, all right, time for me to settle down and go find my nice guy. And they justify, during that phase, they justify ignoring guys who really want to love them and really want to marry them, which is funny because they're not. I've said this before. Women put men into three categories. I want to have sex with him, I want to date him or have a relationship with him, or I don't want anything to do with him. Those three categories, right? Maybe you could add a fourth category and say I would like to be friends with him. I guess you could do that. So we could say four categories. I'd like to be friends with him, but usually what that means is I want to manipulate him and use him for validation and use him for whatever purpose, right? But I'm not going to give him sex, even though I know he wants to have sex with me. Because anytime a guy's in a friend zone, the woman knows that the guy. Women aren't dumb. They play dumb. They play real dumb, but they're not dumb at all. They're just as smart as men. They're just different, right? Different motivations, different ways of behavior, different ways of calculating things. They're just different. And so one of their ways of success is to be subtle, to play into subtlety. Oh, I'm just a dumb woman, They know what's going on. They know why you want to be friends with her. You want to jump her bones, but you're too shy, or you're a little awkward, or you don't have the right type of game, or maybe you tried and she ignored it and she curbed you or whatever, but you're still trying. So you kind of somehow get in the friend zone. And then she uses you for whatever, just that hit of validation. Oh, here's this guy who wants to sleep with me, whatever. So that's the fourth category, right? What's funny is that they'll ignore and curb guys who would be in the second category, relationships. So they'll curb guys who are good, well-meaning guys, nice guys, right? Good, well-meaning guys, and then also the nice guys can be in the friend zone too. But A lot of times they'll curb guys that they're actually attracted to, that they want to have a relationship with, or that they might have a relationship with, because it's not the time to do that yet. They're 22, 25 years old. They're not ready to settle down. They hit that phase around 29, 30, right? They really believe they can go sleep around in their 20s and have no consequences. So they're curbing guys, right? Guys who want to be in a relationship, because it's normal and natural to want to be in a relationship, right? But they're in their carousel riding phase. They're in their sex phase, right? So they'll curb these guys. They'll curb the dude who's like, oh, I really want to date you. I really want to make you my girl. Because that's not what they want, right? Then at that point, they want to go sleep around. There's this weird stigma that like only guys want to sleep around. So not true. The difference is that guys are more prone to quick sex. Guys are more prone to hit it and quit it. Guys are more prone to that. Women are different in that they would rather, even if they're having casual sex, quote unquote, a lot of times they still need to build that safety net. They still need time to get to know you and feel safe around you for the most part. But don't get me wrong, women will jump into bed the first night. Most women out here who are having sex, casual sex, are having sex on the first night. It's just they still need to feel safe with you, and there still needs to be, a lot of times, even though they'll have sex on the first night, they still want to see you again, and they still want to, because there's just that much attraction, and it's just like that. Not always. Sometimes they'll just hit it and quit it. Sometimes women will be as shrewd as men in that they'll just, hit it and quit it. But anyway, so during this time, they're curbing guys. They're curbing guys who are like, oh, I want to have a relationship with you. I want to date you. Because they're too nice. So they put the guy in the too nice category. And they're in their bad boy phase, chasing the bad boys, chasing the exciting guy, the guy who has no rules, the guy who sells drugs, the guy who's, not, he's spottily employed, but he drives a motorcycle and he's still cool, or he works some job that they don't really care about. And they'll chase that guy over a guy who's like got a good job, or he's very stable, because for some reason that's boring to them in this phase. That's boring to them in the carousel riding phase. Oh, this is just a boring guy. He's a yes man. Here's a guy he works at a bar and he drives a motorcycle. That's exciting to me. Or here's a guy who's in a gang or whatever. Here's a guy who, even unemployed guys, they don't care, as long as he's like not playing by the rules. For some reason, that's very attractive to women in this phase. I guess it's just he's not like everybody else. Yeah, he's broke, right? He doesn't give a crap about life. For some reason, that's attractive to women in their younger phase. Anyway, for the most part, I'm not to say that that's always what they sleep around with, but they're sleeping around. That's the point. Once they're done with that phase, 28, 29, 30, all right, have my fun. I saw this meme the other day. This girl's like, I slept with all the guys I want to sleep with. Now I'm ready to settle down. Yeah, that's what the hell they feel. I slept with all the guys I wanted to sleep with. Now I'm ready to settle down. Where's my nice guy? Where's my docile beta provider guy who's not a bad boy, who isn't the guy that all the other women want? And that's the key to that carousel phase, is they were chasing the guys that all the other women want. The physically hot guy, the sporty guy, the bad boy, the guy in the leather jacket, whatever, right? But they don't want to settle down with that guy. They might have a kid by that guy, but they don't want that guy long term, because eventually they're going to be like, oh, wait a minute. This guy's not stable. This guy isn't functional in a relationship. This guy doesn't know how to meet my emotional needs. This guy's very selfish. And initially, those things that they were very attracted to at first, such as he's not trying to win me over, he plays by his own rules, he doesn't text me back, and that makes me have butterflies in my stomach because he's not trying to impress me, and he's maybe even seeing other girls, and it's a big question mark, and it's like, oh gosh, does all the other girls want him because that makes me more attracted to him? Maybe I could get him, and all the other girls will be like, snap their fingers, darn, she got him and I wanted him. And this titillates young, dumb women, right? And they don't realize, well, that's the guy that's going to cheat on you. That's the guy who's not going to be faithful to you. That's the guy who doesn't really care about you that much. That's why he's not texting you back. That's why he's treating you like you're an afterthought. But because you're so used to guys clamoring all over to date and marry you, this guy he's mysterious and he's exciting. No, he just doesn't give a shit about you. He doesn't like you that much. That's the whole thing that is attracting you to him, right? Finally, after they get rid of that, after they're out of that phase, now they want the guy who will dote over them, who will put them on a pedestal, right? The problem, though, is that by the time they get to that phase, they're very damaged. By the time they get to that phase, they've slept with dozens, maybe even hundreds of guys in extreme cases, right? And so they're very damaged by the time they get to that phase. So what's funny is, and this will happen, and I've seen this happen a lot, and I think it's starting to happen more, is that the nice guys are waking up. And this is the cool thing about the red pill, is that it's showing men, hey, don't settle for less. This is how women are really rolling. This is what they're really doing. By the time she hits that age, by the time she's ready to settle down with you, a good, decent guy, right? She's used up. She's used goods. She went and gave away for free what she's making you work for. You deserve better. She's not worth it. Or, you should just say, hey, I'll go my own way. Because if my choice is this used up woman who's a depreciating asset, meaning she's getting older and she's losing her looks, and she's probably a feminist, because again, to go out and do that and live that lifestyle, you got to be a feminist. You got to buy into the feminist propaganda in the first place. So that's going to warp her. It's going to warp her character. It's going to warp her thought process and her emotions and how she processes emotions, and it's going to change the way she treats you, right? That's not a prize. That's not a good woman that you want to be with. She's not going to, be your nice little helper. She's going to try to run the show, or she's going to have these strong opinions, or she's going to be this. It's just unattractive. It's unattractive to most men who know their worth. I would say unfortunately, a lot of men today, a lot of this category of men, because this is the hardest category of men to be in, because they're guys who probably, because they're not the bad boy types, right? So they don't really get laid that much. The bad boy types get laid. These guys might get into relationships every once in a while, might have a girlfriend for a couple years, and then that didn't work out. Maybe they'll have another girlfriend for a couple years. It's just different with these type of guys. If you're a bad boy type, you're getting satisfied sexually, right? So you're not in scarcity mode when it comes to women. You can get a woman. That's not the problem. The problem with the bad boys is that, they just have a whole nother set of challenges. But for the nice guys, their challenge is abundance. They don't have abundance because women are not that attracted to nice guys unless it comes to long term. But the problem with long term is that women have their timetables. When it comes to long term, the woman has the timetable to, hey, it's time for me to settle down. And then it's a whole different agenda. Then it all switches up. Then he's got to make a certain amount of money. He's got to provide this certain type of lifestyle that she wants. It gets real the standards shoot through the roof at that point. When it comes to the bad boys, it's like, okay, he's got a leather jacket and a motorcycle. He's hot physically. That's enough. Look, let's go to the hotel, right? That's it. That's all the qualifications she needs. He's tall. He wears black leather boots. He looks like he can pound me all night. Let's go. With the nice guy, the standards go through the roof. Oh, he's got to impress my family. He's got to impress my mom. He's got to impress my sister. He's got to impress my dad. He's got to make a certain amount of money. He's got to want as many kids as I want. I mean, women have lists that are like novels, right? Of things that they want in a man for the long term. Well, this, that's not fair to the nice guys. That's not fair to the guys who want to have a relationship with you. Oh, so this guy, all he had to do was have a leather jacket, leather boots, be tall, drive a motorcycle. That's all he had to do, right? What kind of investment was that? Oh, he worked for a couple months to afford a motorcycle and leather boots and a black leather jacket. That's all he did. I've been working my whole life so I could have a family. I've been working on my 401k. I've been working on my stock portfolio. I've been working on my savings and my debt and my credit cards and my credit score. I've been working on my mortgage. This is lifelong stuff I've been working on. And you're coming in here and you're going to make me jump through all these hoops. And this guy, all he had to do was have a motorcycle. I mean, come on. How fair is that, right? And you're used up. You're coming into this relationship with a high body count, probably a lot of baggage, probably a lot of damaging characteristics, right? How is that fair to that guy? He's got a lot more to offer than you do, right? And what do you want from him? You want to use him for his stability. You want to use him for his finances and the lifestyle he can provide for you. So you want your cake and eat it too. You want to go out and have your fun, have no consequences, and then settle down, right? Okay. Well, the nice guys, the good guys who did the right things are wising up. That's not a good deal for me. You think I'm just going to be your cleanup guy? You think I'm just going to settle down with you? You must be joking, right? So then women get mad, and they get mad that this guy doesn't want to play ball because they picked him out, and this is the guy that I'm gonna, he's gonna be my little safety net. This is the guy I want for my safety. He's the cleanup guy, and I know he's not gonna cheat on me because I can tell no other girls want him, and so I'm just gonna slide in here. And well, what's happening is those guys are wising up. Those guys are saying, no, ma'am, I ain't playing that game. You're not going to just slide into home base with me like you didn't just steal third, second, and first base, and you're going to slide in home safe with me. That ain't going to happen. Where were you when I was struggling? Where were you when I was in that long 4 years for me to get that degree? Where were you when, I was lonely and horny and couldn't find a date on Tinder? Where were you when I was, putting in the work as an intern, working my way up the company? But now that I got 6 figures, now you want to turn up. Now that I got the nice house and the nice car, now you want to turn up. Yeah, we're not playing that game, right? This is the thing. This is the problem with this modern feminism propaganda, this lie that you can go have your fun and settle down later on and have your cake and eat it too because you're a woman and you're powerful. Woo, woo, woo. Well, I think guys who do that are suckers. I think it's simping. I think that probably they've got absolutely no better options, and they're just hard up. They're hard up for anything. And so they'll settle with a woman they probably don't even really love that much, with a woman they probably don't even respect that much, it's a bad deal for those guys because, you want to have a family, right? You want to have kids. You want your woman to have morals, to raise your kids. You want her to be a good role model. And how can that be? How can she be a quality mother if she's got a body count past 50? How can she be a quality wife and treat you in a quality way when she's been swallowing and digesting feminist propaganda for 20 years, which is really man hatred, right? How does that work? usually it only works if the guy's a yes man, if he's a pushover, if he himself is a male feminist. And these male feminist guys have no backbone. I'm not sitting here saying anything like a man should. I'm not promoting male authority in the home. I'm not that type of person. I'm not that old school. Some people do believe that oh yeah, the man's the leader of the family. Well, maybe if he's a provider and he's a breadwinner, maybe. But I don't even care about all that. Like, it's not about that. It's not that she needs to submit. It's just that she needs to be at least matching him in how much she cares and loves for him, and how much he loves and cares for her. There should be a mutual matching. But how could that be if she's been a feminist for 20 years? How could that be if she's got all this propaganda in her head and this rhetoric? And it's like, I don't even know how women do it. I don't even know how do you be a feminist and even be in a relationship with a man? This is why I think so many feminists become same-sex oriented, because how can you sit there and listen to feminist propaganda and still even care about men? It's weird, because it's just man hatred. It's just a gender supremacy cult. That's all it is. Modern feminism is so much man hatred. But yeah, they hit that phase and they want to settle down with the nice guy, and then they get mad if the nice guy doesn't want them. If the nice guy's like, you know what, maybe they get played by the nice guy. Maybe the nice guy's like, all right, yeah, we can have a relationship, right? And he knows that she's been giving it away for free for the last 10 years. So what's he gonna do? Oh yeah, all right. And he'll play that game for a little while and get what these other guys have been getting. And then he sees how skilled she is in bed, and women today try to act like, well, don't you want a woman who's skilled in bed? Oh, you want a woman who has no, like, what kind of stupid argument is that? Oh yeah, I need a woman who's a professional in bed. That's what I want. It's like, because yeah, sex is so hard to do. It's such a hard skill to do. Like, it takes years and years of honing your skills and practices in the bedroom to be as good as me. This is what I bring to the table. Really? You're a professional sex haver? That's what you bring to the table in a supposedly loving relationship? Like, come on, man. Who are you trying to fool with that? But yeah, they get mad, and so, the nice guys don't want to settle down with me. My plan is ruined. I've wasted my life. And really, it's sad, man. It's sad, and I've seen it happen where women just, they get used up. I'm sorry to say, they get used up, because that's the problem. The problem is that you're supposed to. This is the thing, is that people think that, your 20s, you're young, you think that, but first of all, it goes fast, right? First of all, time goes fast. Second of all, from 20 to 30 is not, sure, you're a young person, yeah, but you're supposed to be building your family during that time. That's what it's for. It's to build your family for your future, financially and lovingly. So by the time you're 30, your kids are 10. By the time you're 40, your kids are 20. By the time you're in your mid-40s, they're out of the house, and they're off in college, or they're graduating college, and you're enjoying your 40s, and you got kids, and you're a successful parent, and they went to college, and now they're getting good jobs, and you're enjoying middle age. But a lot of times, it's not working out like that these days, because you wasted that 10 years. This is the problem with wasting time, is that we think we have time, but in a sense, we really don't. Right? Oh, let me just go do this for 5 years. Let me go travel for 10 years or something. And it's like, a lot of times you get sidetracked, and it takes longer than you think to get back. Or you just wasted time when you could have been doing something else, or when you could have been, doing the thing you were supposed to do. And hey, I'm a proponent of second chances. I'm a proponent of forgiveness and things like that. But the truth is, a lot of times consequences stay over. As an example, there was a period of my life where I wasn't taking great care of my health. I went through depression and things like that, and I was, doing things like eating junk food and not exercising that caused my body to be overweight. And I started to store fat, and that's not normal for me because I grew up an athlete. I grew up playing basketball and baseball and football and exercising a lot, always outside running around. I was thin and I was skinny in high school. I was very fit and athletic, and I was very strong. But I spent a period of about 5 years, which actually turned into 10 years, because it took me a couple years to even correct the ship, even correct the direction that I was going. It took me a couple years to get back to healthy habits. A lot of times you might develop unhealthy habits, and it takes a couple years to even unlearn those unhealthy habits to where you got to build up healthy habits again. That takes time. You got to retrain your mind, retrain your body, and you go through pits and valleys and ups and downs and failures and setbacks, and it doesn't work how people think it works. Like, oh yeah, I'll just turn it all around. So it's the same with relationships. It's the same with love and emotions. You spend 10 years in toxic relationships, toxic hookups, chasing bad boys, right? You become jaded, you become toxic, it warps your character. You can't just turn that ship around in 2 years. Like, oh, okay, well, I had my epiphany phase at 28, 29. By the time I'm 30, 31, I want to be married and living this different life. That's not how things work. You got to work through, sift through. You may need to get counseling. You may need to relearn healthy ways of thinking. You may need to have a spiritual overhaul and figure out how to get rid of all the dirt on your conscience of all the people you hurt, or all the all the self-damage you did to yourself. That's really how life works. That's the things people don't tell you. When people say, oh, you can be whatever you want to be, you can do anything you want to do, America's a free country, what they don't tell you is there's consequences. What they don't tell you is that it's hard. You got to work hard to turn things around and be on the right path. And that takes time. That takes a lot of time, years, seriously. To unlearn toxic habits, to unlearn ways of thinking, and you're bringing that into a relationship with some person that you supposedly love. And this is the problem with going out and doing whatever you want for however many years, is that you're gonna bring that with you wherever you go until either it's resolved or until you heal. And it doesn't always look pretty. My body, it may never look the way it did when I was young and in high school. Even though I have practiced healthy habits now, I work as hard as I can now. It may never go back to where it was. That's just a reality of life. People think that it's like some kind of fantasy or like some kind of movie where things are, there's always a happy ending. Not always. It can get real bad, man. Life can get real bad, and it's not even, maybe it's not that bad, but maybe there's just damage. Maybe you're just a damaged person, and then you gotta force that your spouse, your future spouse, has no choice but to deal with your consequences, because he's going to take on your consequences, right? So it's no wonder that guys are like, nah, I'm not going to play that game, because that's not a good deal for me. That's not a good deal for the nice guys. Oh, you went out and you played around, now he gets to settle down with you and work through all your crap just because you think he's got no one better but you, and what are you even offering? Just a used up body? That's all you're offering? You don't really even know how to love and treat a man. You're just a feminist who's been selfish for 10 years. This is what they don't tell you. This is why parents sending your daughters off to college, you got to be aware, man. You got to be aware of what's out there. These subversive ideologies, these radical feminists, radical leftists, this stuff is ideological subversion on purpose to derail normal values, to derail traditional values, which is, hey, do the right thing, go out and get married, go have a family, go out and do well for yourself, build an empire of quality family relationships based on love. But then you hit college and it's like, oh no, you can go be a hoe, you can go sow your wild oats, you're an empowered woman, and guess what else? Men are out to get you. Masculinity is toxic. The patriarchy. You don't want to be a wife because then you're oppressing yourself somehow, right? I mean, this is why so many young women are depressed and unhappy and on antidepressants and just all messed up in their soul and their heart, because they're hearing this crap. Oh, men are out to get me. Marriage is oppressive to women. What kind of lies is that? No, that's what you want. You want to get married. You want to have love. You want to build a family and have traditional values and settle down and live a long life in peace and happiness. Not, oh yeah, let me go out and sow my wild oats and have a bunch of sex and get this temporary pleasure, and because it's going to end eventually, and it's going to take its toll on your body one way or another. Even if you're good at it, even if you're good in the sense that you have some kind of longevity at it, you took care of your body, you eat healthy. A lot of times these young women, they don't even do that, and then things just get worse and worse, and by the time they're 30, they look 50 because they get overweight. And because this is what happens, say you have a bad relationship, or you catch feelings for a guy who just wanted to sleep with you, he didn't want to marry you. Then what do? You start to eat because that's how you cope. You start to overeat because you got to cope with being depressed because this guy didn't want to marry you, even though you just hooked up with him on the first night, and that's all it was about, was sex. Because women think that they can use sex to get a relationship a lot of times. So it's really funny because I'll just go have a bunch of sex, and then they have sex with a guy that they really like, and they start to catch feelings, and then they try to use sex to sucker him into a relationship, and they wonder why it doesn't work, and then they get depressed, and they go out and they start eating junk food to cope. And because food can become a drug, food can become something that, just like alcohol or any other type of drug, weed or whatever, it stunts your emotions. Oh, I feel really bad, but I feel better when I take this drug. That's the whole point a lot of times of drugs, is it masks your pain. You're no longer in pain. And it's the same with food. It releases dopamine. It releases certain types of chemicals when you eat it. So a lot of times these women, they get overweight because they get depressed over a bad relationship, and they go on eating binges. There's all kinds of things, man, that can mess you up. But anyway, these are the things that good quality parents should tell their kids. But we have this push out here of like, anything goes. You can do whatever you want to do, and don't be a bigot by, really the world's so dark that they're equating, family values with bigotry. When you say like, oh, get married, it's some kind of oppressive thing now, when really it's the best thing for you. Yeah, you want to live a long, nice, happy life. Get married when you're young to somebody you really love, and have a family, and the relationship should be based on love. Shouldn't be based on his accolades and his finances and all this other crap that women, unfortunately, because really they're doing that to themselves. If you marry a man because he's got a lot of money, or you marry a man because he just provides the lifestyle, he's a good provider, he provides the lifestyle I want, then really you're setting yourself up for a divorce in about 10 years. Because if that passion isn't there, if you don't have that love for this man, all the rest can fall into place. He can get a job, or make more money, or have a better career at any time in his life. But what never changes is the passion and the love that you have for that man. That's what should never change, right? And his feelings, should be mutual for you. Our relationship is based on this love that we have, not on anything else. Not on anything else necessarily. Everything else is a bonus. He makes good money. We have a good lifestyle. That's a bonus. We have things in common. That's a bonus, right? You need to base it on love and, to some good extent, chemistry. You need to have chemistry. You need to be very attracted to that person and have good chemistry with them and good rapport with them, and you need to enjoy the way you act around them, and there needs to be a mutual commitment, a mutual fidelity based on monogamy. If you have that, there's a good chance your relationship's going to last. And I'd say even putting God first and putting family first before obviously love is first, because you have to have that as the foundation. But then you start to build on top of it, family, God, chemistry, and doing things together, and building on your love, and fostering care for each other, things like that. But a lot of times women get shorted because they listen to their parents, and their parents are like, oh, you need to marry a guy who's got a really good job and he needs to make a lot of money, and they mess their kids up. Not to say that you should settle per se for someone who's who doesn't want to achieve anything in life. That's not good either. That's not. Sometimes women do fall for guys who just aren't that great. But anyway, that's another story. But yeah, man, I would say keep your daughters away from modern feminism. Keep them away from universities with subversive ideology. Keep them away from, feminism, man. It's such an insidious thing. It's really the enemy of women. Even though it claims like it's women's friend, it's women's enemy. It hurts women, it hurts children. It's a subversive ideology. It's social engineering. It's not great. It's not good, man. All right, that's all I gotta say for now. Appreciate you listening. Jay Lee, Northwest Podcast. Peace.